Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say a quick hello and welcome to a very special edition of the program, ASHFORD God Live. We don't usually come on Fridays, but like I said, it will have something very important to talk about. You will see us on here because we're here for Liberia. I want to make sure our country is headed in the right direction. Oh, man. I have a special guest co-host tonight. He's a veteran. This brother has been in the business for a long time. As a matter of fact, I call him Big Brother. But because the man's so fine, he looks like I'm older than him. We work at the Liberia Broadcasting System together, ELBC. And this brother is in the building with me tonight. Very sound, objective, a real broadcast journalist. Oh, man. Well, folks, if you are celebrating your birthday today, I'd like to say congratulations. And let us show hope that you live to see many more birthdays to come. May God continue to bless you. If you are in fact celebrating any type of occasion today, we also want to say congratulations to you. Listen, invite a few friends. Don't be selfish. Grab something to drink. Get the popcorn rolling. Because tonight, we are going to be speaking with the father of one of the missing children or missing young men. I spoke with him earlier today. He said the young men are not dead. They are somewhere in Monrovia, and he will be on tonight to explain just that, folks. He will be on tonight to speak to you directly. That's what we do. We ask the newsmakers to come in, but I really don't like. In fact, let me hold that, folks. Please allow me to borrow the wordings of the wise man. Tough times don't last, tough people do. The height of a man is never known until he rises, because there's no second chance to make that first impression. When God bless you, don't see that medicine. Don't see okra and swallow bone, because you can't hide your nakedness from beef and bucket. A bald-headed man does not walk on the moonlight. The medicine of the microphone, the golden voice of Liberia, the broadcast commissioner, ASHFORD, the giant, that now you know me, GARLEY. Welcome.
Nalo por el tratar. Kiamsito, voy a vivir de belle. Hey, hey, Oka.
it's time to say hi to a few friends. I see the Choco Saka. Choco, how you doing? I also want to say hi to Modba Big Balls Zeze, Yumutro Krenga. Yumutro, how you doing, my lovely sister Smith? That is in the building. Tenkia Boto. Oh, man. Mr. Fear Phyllis, Human Power. Abi Brahima Bender. Bless Sampong Batu. Yvonne Sese. Moses Boba. I also want to recognize the presence of John Johnson, Mona Lisa, Mona Corti from Belgium, Victoria Amadou. How you all doing tonight? Brace yourselves. Invite a few friends. Let's have fun. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say hello and welcome. I am going to be calling the father of one of the missing young men, and I will be calling him direct. Don't put the responsibility on me alone. So when I call this man, it's very expensive. So for those of you that are interested in hearing this young man, you have to do something. I'm going to pay the cash app. I can't take on the responsibility by myself. I don't work for the government of Liberia. I don't work for the opposition. Because of the passion and love we have for this, we spend our own money just to make sure Liberia gets to where she's supposed to be. You know, I'm so angry tonight because where is the justice minister? The international community needs to get involved. People are dying. We can't hear from the justice minister. I call the justice minister. He doesn't answer my calls. I call the director of the national police. He does not respond to me. I call the spokesperson for the police. He doesn't pick up my calls. What is going on? Somebody needs to say something. Is that how you're going to run this country? Your citizens are dying. Government employees are dying. And we can't hear from any of you people. Where is the information ministry? Where is the state-owned radio station that's supposed to be talking to the people? Now we find ourselves doing the government job in some cases. Why are you people not speaking? This is not fair to Liberia. This is not fair to the people of Liberia. At this time, please join me. Listen, folks, the volcano is erupting. And speaking about the eruption of the volcano, please join me as we introduce to you a veteran broadcast journalist from the Liberia Broadcasting System, where he formerly worked. Please join me, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Volcano Shelton is in the building. My brother, hello and welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. Ashford is kind of thrilling to be here tonight with you, even though it was, surprising that you would reach out to me this late. Ever since Bridge Radio being on, I was expecting a call, but it's better late than never. And I'm happy to be on your platform tonight to contribute to the discussions and the topics that will evolve during the course of this broadcast. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Well, a lot of folks don't know Volcano. Some of them heard the name when they were growing up. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. Well, I'm Volcano Shelton. I formerly worked for the Liberia Broadcasting System prior to matriculating to the U.S. Over the years, since coming to America, I've been involved with journalism because it's my first love. I am currently a member of the All Liberian Journalists in the Americas, ALJA, a founding member, of course, and former board chairman. I think ALJA has a presence in Liberia, from what I know, regarding, our purpose of being, reaching out to issues or speaking to issues that's unfolding in Liberia. But apart from being with Alja, formerly affiliated with Africa Radio One, the first and premier, African diaspora, diaspora radio from Africa. I served as production director of radio and production, and worked with other, online platform, New Liberia FM with Roland Mellish, and also some community FMs in the Atlanta area. Um, but again, I've done my part in radio. Um, Considering here in the diaspora, you need to find other things to do, and so I went into administration. My background is in administration, so I worked for a major nonprofit organization, and I work in administration. But again, I'm still connected to journalism, and will always be.
Well, just so you know, the British Radio Africa has a space for you because I mean you're so talented, and there's no reason why we can't make good use of your talent and expertise.
And I appreciate the invitation. I will look at the situation and see how I can adjust myself. What type of program I will want to bring to your audience to expand this platform. So thanks again for the invitation. We look forward to coming and bridging that gap and working with you.
Volcano, our country is hurting. Uh, Too many things are happening in Liberia. We can go back from the former bank director Matthew Innit, the former lawmaker Adolph Lawrence. Uh, we hearing about the ongoing investigation about the four auditors that died. Now we have three missing young men. Uh, we don't know their whereabouts. We spoke with the accused, Saint Moses. We also spoke with one of the fighters of the young man, one of the missing young man, and we spoke with the uncle of one of the missing young men as well. You had the opportunity to listen to me question these people. What do you know, Shelton?
Well, quite frankly, you and I are not in Liberia to draw first-hand information, so everything is more coming from a third party. The first person I listened to was Moses, and he said, quite frankly, that he was never present during the entire incident. However, he also received information from a third party. But he's holding on to those information as though they're absolute truth. Um, I listened to the father. He had his own, story around it. Some kind of vastly different from that of Moses. Also, he was also told what happened. Um, Also, the uncle of, I believe it is the welder or the electrician, he also had his story of what happened. And I'm sure that probably the involvement of the security apparatus, that includes the police, the investigation team, they're not focusing probably the investigation in the direction that it should be going. So my take on the whole thing is that I think they need to do a thorough job regarding, all of the pieces, instead of just suspecting one person. They need to look at those guys who accompanying the individuals to the river to cross, if it is a true story. Um, Unfortunately, I don't know why up to now they have not found, a body, because oftentimes dead bodies kind of come to the shores, or sometimes will float. Um, except where there are animals in the water that may have consumed them. Uh, but then again, you listen that some of the family members are very, very uh, confident that these young men are still alive and they were kept for ritualistic purposes. So many tributaries regarding this whole scenario. And I think that a trained, investigative team should be looking at all these different tributaries to determine the course where they should go. And I confidently think that some of the routes they've taken is what we'll consider putting the cart before the horse, rather than have gone systematically to approach uh, the investigation.
Well, speaking of finding about it, when I spoke with Mr. Robert Blambo earlier today, he said 13 days later, they are saying that a body was found. And this body, according to him, appeared fresh, as if the person had just died. And they presented the body. And according to him, if you stay under the water for 13 days, you will not be the same. The fish, in a way,
Yeah, yeah.
we get hold of
Probably body parts will be eating.
it, but this body appeared fresh. And he said, Ashford, listen, these men are not dead. They are hiding somewhere in Monserrato. And my question now would be, where are they hiding? Why is it that we don't know anything? And I believe when he comes later on, he will explain to us. But 13 days later, Volcano and a body, according to Mr. Blum, appeared very fresh. What do you make of this?
Are they trying to substitute to make it create a scene as though there's someone that could be found? Unfortunately, the other people cannot. Um, but did Blambo see the body to know whether the body represents any of the three people that are connected to the case? So that can be a whole different, situation to look into. But I keep hearing the people are hiding. What do you mean hiding? Do you mean that they've been kept against their will, and they're not able to get out? And who holding them against their will? One of the other things that I also want to be uh, clear about is, what is the story with Zanza Kawai, who happens to see beyond this life and was able to, look beyond this life to determine that the individuals were still alive where they were being held. All of the other issues with one of the family members saying that they brought mirror and they could see, and the father, I heard Mr. Blambo saying that he didn't want to look in the mirror and all those things. Why are we going, with all of these superstitions rather than look at it from a more defined investigative standpoint? We tend to mess up our investigations by adding in hearsay, suspicions, superstitions, attributing things to witchcrafting and all of this, instead of just utilizing the expertise uh, that we've gained in our, investigative procedures to walk through the process to be able to determine what is fact and what is not fact.
But what would you think would be the reason why the authorities, I mean, from the Justice Ministry to the Liberia National Police, to the Information Ministry, why I did not having conferences, why I did not getting deep and deeper into this? Because this is very, very concerning. You have family members who are hurting.
And you're right. You're right. Our country is a small place, and you think that any significant issue of this kind will take precedent across all of the different, you know, uh, components of government. Here in America, it may be a municipality issue. It wouldn't be national, per se, but the municipality where that issue takes place will do everything, provide all the resources to make sure that the investigation is done. Again, unfortunately, you have not spoken to any representative of the government to tell you what they've done to support the process. Again, everything coming from, the father, Mr. Moses, and so forth. So hopefully, you'll be able to speak with someone who's representing government
Oh,
to
I
see
mean,
what his role is.
3 days ago,
Yeah.
I spoke with the Internet Affairs Minister of the Republic
Okay.
of Liberia, and he said to me, Ashford, I've instructed the superintendent of Bone County to give me some literature
Update.
update.
Up. Mhm.
And I also spoke with the police director, but very brief. He said, Ashford, I'm very busy. There's a lot of things going on. If I have the time, I will talk with you. So those were the 2 people that I spoke with.
So yeah. So again, the Internal Affairs Ministry actually represents the government of Liberia. So if the Minister Proper gave some kind of instructions to the superintendent of Bond County to look into things and get back, then I think that's step one. But what is the swiftness? Uh, we're talking, you said 13 days now, and everything is more, they got drowned. And then another group said, no, they're alive. So where do we start this investigation? Do we start from they got drowned and comb the river, provide all the logistics and manpower? Or do we look at the situation of them being held against the will for ritualistic purpose and pursue in that direction? So I think the whole investigation process here is muddy. The premise for the investigation, because there are two scenarios here, and that makes it even difficult. And I would be honest with you, our country does not have the kind of logistics rather to provide the best investigation process. So maybe this stuff needs to go to the international community level, create some of excitement, so that people can get involved, countries can get involved, and hopefully we can begin the process in the right direction.
Well, Shelton, I want to say a big thank you to you and, of course, our viewers. Just so you know, very shortly, you will have Mr. Robert Blambo on the line, and I'm going to be calling him directly from my phone. I'm with AT&T. There's a lot of money involved. I can't shoot up the responsibility about all. I have just paid the Cash App and Zelle. Help us out, folks here in the diaspora. We really want to know where the missing young men are. And again, the government of Liberia didn't ask us to do this. The opposition didn't ask us to do this. We're doing this because of Liberia. So again, the Cash App is on there, and the Zelle is on there, 248-979-1718. When you listen to Saint Moses, there was some type of conflict in terms of time. At one moment, he said 9 p.m., and another moment, he said 12. Now, the government of Liberia, through the cell phone companies, can pinpoint the call log of Saint Moses. The entire
And the call log of his business partner who called him,
exactly the call log
and
of
the,
his business partner. So
and the call log of the pastor or priest who he called
exactly
to convey the message.
why the investigation is not centered around the call log, grabbing the communication with Saint
But
Moses.
so that would be a point to start from if you wanted to establish facts around when the information was conveyed. And, again, but let's come back to Moses. Moses presented to be kind of genuine. You said he prayed and all of that. When I say genuine, in the way he presented his side of the story. But again, how could he have given all of those detailed information if he was never there? It's kind of like somebody who had a story written, had a story planned, and study it and regurgitated it in a way that it appeared as though he was there and he knew what was happening. So let's start from the call law. Uh, Hopefully, know the time and sequence. Unfortunately, you won't be able to determine what the call was, except it was recorded, um, what the discussion was, rather. But that would give a starting point to establish the time and sequence. Because again, if he was frantic about the news, he may have missed, the time that he thought he got the news and so forth. So that shouldn't be of a major issue for me. I think what should be of a major issue is establishing the actual time through the call logs, because he could have, gotten hysterical with the news and got confused. May have taken rather some time to ponder it and be able to determine how do I present this news and where do I start from, and that could have delayed, the time he made a call and so forth.
Now, what do you make about the explanation of Moses? Let us talk about credibility. Let us talk about some of the things he said. Now, prior to the interview on Bridge Radio Africa, uh, he was also heard. I don't know whether he gave concern for the recordings that are out there, but you listen to him. What do you make of his story?
That's what I said. It's the story. The stories sound to be like something that has was probably pre discussed, even though it came from a third party. But he presented it to be very genuine, as though he knew the story, rather than allowing the people who told the story to him to be the one to give the actual account. And I thought he rushed to grant some interviews, if he did few of them, um, rather than allow the investigation process to proceed and not be involved. Um, while it is true that he may not be a person of a suspect, but a person of interest rather, his continued involvement and support to the whole process, as though the government is irresponsible to provide logistics, providing his vehicle, gassing, all of those things have a tendency, and throwing money out there for people to go on such mission. All of this have a tendency to present you to be trying to cover things. So he made some mess here, and I'm hoping that he's innocent. Um, and I'm hoping that these guys are alive. That's why I've not subscribed to the issue of seeing that they sending condolences, because I think the family are very genuine about their loved ones being alive. So all I can say is that uh, hopefully they are alive and we're able to get them back to the families.
But I listened to one of the to the uncle of one of the Mason band, and this guy was stern. He said, "Listen, whatever happened, they are playing with the wrong family, and we are going to go to the bottom of this. We are going to do everything possible to make sure that we get some answers. If these young men are still alive, want to see them. If they are dead, want to see the dead bodies." And Shelton, from the look of things,
So here's something that I also heard from, I believe, the father, who said that someone called from the boy's number, his son's number, that a junior boy, that they found his phone. Also, someone said that another person, or rather, the father said another person said he found the boy's wallet with his ID card. Could there have been some kind of scuffle prior to the adoption? Uh, you know, uh, could it be those guys who are coming, accommodated the three men to the riverside, if the story is true, who thought that they had money because, according to Moses, he gave the young man, Blambo's son, $50. He did not disclose how much he gave the guy who did the electrical work. He did not disclose how much he gave the biker who had gone, I think, on two occasions to transport people back and forth. could have been a good sum of money, maybe in the tune of $1,000 or more, because people would kill for anything, or people would do, stuff for anything, especially with hardship in Liberia. Could those guys who did the accommodation or accompanying the guys to the river acted on their own and Moses is not aware? And then they made a story up and explained it to him. So many things are, supposed to be looked at here. At what point is the investigation targeting those people who were on the scene? Because the story here all along now says that Moses was not there. They're the ones who went to the police station to explain, and he picked up the story from there. Are they looking at those people as the primary suspects? 5 men accompanying 3 people. All 5 of them are alive, but the 3 people are missing or proclaimed to be dead. They died in the river. Up to now, no debris from their bodies, from the canoe, from their belongings were found in the river. But according to the father, the wallet and the cell phone of his son was found on land, distance from the river. So put some pieces together here. Think about it. I'm losing you, Ashford, your mic.
Shelton, Moses and Blambo are friends. They've been friends for
Yeah,
over 30 years. Now, why is Blambo alone trying to help solve this problem? Why is Moses is not with Blambo? After Blambo said, yes, my son can go to do a piece of work for you. And in
yeah,
that
but
case, my son disappeared. Why is Moses not seen with Blambo in trying to make sure that these young men are saved?
because yeah, what it is, Ashford, to be practical here, let's be honest. Moses is the one now linked to all of this. You've seen the demonstration at his property or his business. You've seen that he is the only name. They're not talking about the 5 people who took those guys accordingly to escort them to cross the river into the village where they would have gotten the bikes and the bike rather and leave. They're not looking at him, so they're looking at Moses. So if Moses did say that the police had advised him to stay low profile, because again, you and I studied this country and the forensics around here. People who perpetrated crime is attached to the crime scene. They come back, they watch the police investigation, they hang around just to see if some of the mistakes, whether they made some mistakes, to see if they can cover the tracks, but they're lingering around. And, they look deeply at all of the people in the crowd and they sense this guy every time, he just at the edge, and then to pull that person in and so they catch them, as the prime suspect. So apparently Moses is following what the police told him, that he needs to stay away from, being a front runner in the investigation process, because again, he could compromise. It's already carried that all of the support that he's given because of the lack of logistics by the police. The father did admit that Moses gave him a pickup, gas it just to help him get around. So, to be on the forefront and be side by side with Blamo as the prime suspect, would raise suspicions. That would be my thought and opinion.
Well, I disagree with some angry callers that say that the property of Moses should be burned down. That you can't take the law into your own hands. Let us establish the facts
I,
before.
I think I think that's a poor proposal to put forth. Uh, Moses may be the proprietor of that business, but he may not be the sole owner. There are many people involved. There are employees who have worked, who their daily bread and their sustenance depend on it. And that business, is important to Liberia, very very important to Liberia. Take Moses out of the equation, So I don't think that it is the right route to go, and I don't think that they should ever think about doing that, because then they would be causing more people harm, and I don't think that would bring the 3 men, back. But again, let's just stay the course. We advise the family, to stay the course, do other things. There are other ways that they can pressure government. There are other ways they can pressure the process, seeking international community's attention getting a lot of, public servants involved, stakeholders, the public, the Liberia Council of Churches, all the different, what you call, power group, pressure groups in the country, the oppositions, while oppositions are not speaking yet, they're also voices. They can come in the equation to help the process. But rather than trying to vandalize the property, I don't think it would be a good choice to make.
Okay, now shortly we're going to bring on the father, one of the missing young men. But I want to at this time say a big thank you to some of our donors, people who have contributed via Cash App, just to help us with the phone communication. Ms. Deconti Lincoln, we want to say a big thank you for your contribution. Koto Banayan, we also want to say a big thank you. Yumothro Krenga, thank you so much. And Mr. Smith Dawyer. So listen, like I always say, any dirty water can put a fire. Again, I'm going to be calling him from a direct line with AT&T. It's very expensive. I didn't have the time to prepare. I know some of you have suggested that I go through some type of other means to connect to Liberia, but again, he doesn't have the option to come through via WhatsApp. So I'm gonna have to call him directly before he can connect with us. Now,
It's sometimes the distortion too. That's why you can't use just any platform, especially regarding the sensitivity. Uh, this issue brings to the public. Everyone wants to know where it's going and the ongoing development and updates.
what do you expect to hear from Mr. Blambo? You listened to the interview that I had with him. And today, when I got on the phone with him, he said to me, Ashford, the boys are still alive. They are in Monserrato and they are in hiding. Who is hiding them? These are some of the questions. So, what do you expect to come from Mr. Blamo when he gets shortly? Shelton?
Honestly, I think that he must come with some credible information because the Liberian people are concerned for those young men's well-being. But not only that, the constraints that is put on the families, on even Moses who's being accused, the media, the attention drawn. So I hope that he comes in tonight with some credible information regarding what he knows. And those information should be succinct enough for people to be able to draw a logical conclusion, the direction that they want to take with this whole thing. Because again, as I said, so many tributaries involved. The stories are all over the place, the assertion, assumptions, and how it's being carried. So hopefully he calls some names. We've heard that there have been some big powers involved because it is the election season, and the whole construct around this issue was for ritualistic purpose because some people want to win elections. Um, so that would be my thought. Does he know where in Montserrat County these three men are being held? Rather than saying that they're hating, I would think that they've been held against their will. Um, is there a way that the public can be mobilized quickly to go in that uh, part of Montserrat County to retrieve them? Those are the kinds of things that I would expect that he will come with, and I hope that he will come with more of a drive to see this whole thing put to rest. Because his first interview, he seemed too passive and pensive. It didn't seem alarming for me, regarding the person whose last child, meaning his son, of all the calamities that befell his family. He seemed too relaxed. So I think it's about time that he comes really, really, assertive tonight.
I want you to throw the light on ritualistic killings as it relates to Liberia. People are saying this is something that is age old. This is not just started. I mean, back then, when we were boys, we heard about the ritualistic killings, and
The Hame, the Boyo.
the Boyo we had. But do you sense that Boyo is not coming back? Is that what we are saying now?
I think it's been existential. I think it's been around. It's just that on what volume that it occurs, and oftentimes, it happens during big events like the elections. Uh, I think people are still mythical about winning elections through sacrifices, and unfortunately, these things don't really work. But it still take go great length to cause mayhem by taking lives. Um, Places where it's happening, they may not be more uh, available to social media and the public, and so some of those things are swept, under the carpet. But I think it's an existential, situation that occurs everywhere in Liberia, not just Liberia, but
I want you to hold that thought.
yeah.
I want you to hold that thought, please. Data business is very expensive. Data is expensive in Liberia. We have a local journalist, Mr. Francis Nye, is on the line from Liberia. Francis, how you doing?
I'm okay, Big Brother Ashford. How are you? And thank you so much for allowing me on your platform, the Bridge Radio International.
Okay, now please bring us up to speed, Francis. We're hearing about the disappearance of 3 young men. It is alleged now that these men are still alive. Some are saying they are dead. What do you know?
Actually, my investigation still ongoing. Is whether where the 3 young men are, or who holding them in captive in terms of their recent disappearance, or the alleged testimony from Mr. Simose that the young people went missing after attempting to cross a local river in bomb mines. But from his testimony to the parent, Mr. Simose is not really clear as to whether how the young people went missing after they attempted using a local canoe to cross this gigantic river. To where our investigation has placed all, there's no trace about where these people fell in the water and where we can get that body, or because the community within that bomb mines region told us that these young people were spotted with Mr. Simoses, okay, but there were no town canoe ever capsized within that particular community water, according to the community people. But so Mr. Simoses' action and his testimony had turned another side because his information turned to be conflicting. The truth of the matter, after government allowed their number of security officers to go in there to make a search, the security team, which is the member of the LMP, proved that they were incapable to protect lives and property. We even understand that the police went in there to personally protect Mr. Simoses' property in terms of a Diamond Creek or a Gold Creek.
Hold on, Francis. Are you telling us that the police officers that were dispatched to Bonkande, instead of them going to search for the missing young men, they went there to protect the Diamond Creek of Simoses? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, this is where the LMP found themselves right now. Currently, they are protecting the Diamond Creek.
How do you know that? How do you get to come up with that? Who told you that?
My investigation conducted between the Bombas region and that of the parent, which is the victim of the 3 missing men, told me in a press interview that the police officers that were sent back there, the 25 police officers that were sent back there, is presently protecting Simoses' property instead of finding the missing men. And in few minutes ago, or an hour ago, the police just announced that they found a dead man within the water, having a bag on his back. Okay, according to the missing, one of the missing men, older sister, who I spoke with in an interview. Okay, Madam Blamo told me that the late individual his body could not be found, but still another individual, they have pulled him out of the water with a bag on his back, and his entire identity had erased, meaning his structure, his physical comportment, his face is not in total formative form. But then they claiming that this person could be one of the missing men that went down in the water, allegedly. So the family is making all clear statement that there will be no way they will accept anybody from that of the Boma region, but they will make sure to inform the U.S. Embassy and other embassies across our nation capital, Monrovia, about a deteriorating security situation in terms of the missing family members that went missing a days ago or a week ago, after Simose asked that they should go in the Boma region to help him to do some work.
Thank you. Just before we let you go, perhaps Sheldon has a question for you. Sheldon?
My question would be, I know you received this information, but did it try to, do some in-depth forensics to determine whether the body was underwater for this length of time that will correspond with the time that the guys attempted to cross and were drowned? Does the bag look like the bag of the electrician or welder who went to do the work? What is, you got to look in the bag to see whether the tools that he used were in the bag. Hopefully they can look at his dental record to see, whether his teeth will match whatever on the dental record. Are they doing anything forensic to determine whether that person is one of the persons?
This is what our information we're trying to get is whether the police will carry on due diligence in terms of all of those things that you listed. But to our almost surprise, police authorities stay tight-lipped, and they yet to come up with those instruments that will lead to the forensic test that will determine is whether the first person that have pulled all of the water is the exact individual who were escorted by Simose towards that particular town, and it was one of the individuals who were on the canoe, and the canoe capsized, according to Simose own testimony after he went at the LMP headquarters to give his statement. But the parent had categorically said that they would not cooperate with any police forensic authority in terms of the men that they just pull all of the water, because they believe that their children is still alive and stay in the hands of their captive, and they believe that their sons that have already went missing is still alive, and they will not take any no for an answer, because the police do not have the moral ability to provide any truth in terms of the entire issue that have to do with the missing people, and the police were taking side in the entire episode. I will be coming up with a script in a few hours from now, maybe before tomorrow morning, and it will be published on my page.
Francis, when you say the police was taking side, what does that mean?
It is an allegation from the family sources that I spoke with today that the police
don't just say the police were taking side. Then you say according to the family. You can't just come and
yes,
say
according to the family sources, they said police authority were doing little to protect the family, but they were rather protecting Simose, and they were doing little to help recover the alleged missing men.
So let me ask you, Francis, did you
Simose Diamond Mine and his property within the Boma region?
Hold on.
So my question to you, Francis, as a journalist, did you go on the scene to see the police manning the properties of that of Moses, or again, it's alleged that the family is making these allegations? Did your investigative team go?
The allegation, but my team of reporter is already been dispatched, and they will be within the Bama region in just a matter of days, and they will come up with their own investigation according to those pieces of information that we're capturing from family sources who have visited the site where the men went missing in the Bama region.
And the reason why I asked the question is clearly because if the police were there manning the properties of Moses, then they wouldn't have found a body. So, let's assume that they're not providing protection to the property. Rather, they will be doing what is expected of them, to comb the area, to search the water, to search the area, just to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, but according to family sources, family who allege that since the police officer went in that region, they were little bit weak in terms of making sure that they do the exact work that they went to do, but they were putting on maximum in terms of protecting all of his property, because they said there was some news that people were coming in to burn down the entire farm and destroy his property. So they were using that vis-a-vis that authority power to protect his property instead of recovering the missing men who went down in the water, allegedly, according to Moses, on that Sunday morning when he called the mother of the late BLAMO Jr.
So let me say this, Ashford. Just
So
quickly.
the situation is complicated, but we hope that police authority will speak to the issue, because another information are digging up. The police spokesman Moses H. Carter has already begun sending condolence messages, according to family source. One of the daughter of the late BLAMO Jr., his sister, said that Moses Carter already began sending condolence messages to those various family that sorry for the loss of your family, and we hope that God consoles you. So they still believe that the police is playing chicanery and the police is playing smart game, and they're doing little to recover their family member, and they were playing laissez-faire attitude, and they feel that it's not enough, so they're going to make sure that they inform international community and international diplomatic channel near Monrovia, just to make sure that they bear pressure on the government of the Republic of Liberia to come up with a speedy investigation and result as whether where they can find the young people, because people believe that they stay in a safe home near Monrovia, being kept on top security guard. Those are all allegations, but we're hoping that the facts will come up so we can get the truth behind this entire episode.
And actually, one thing I wanted to quickly say, that irrespective of what the police role is, the police, whether you are an accused or a victim, the police must protect you in every way possible. So if the police are there because they got tip off that there were plans to vandalize Moses' property, they owe it to Moses as a citizen to protect his property. In the same token, they would do the same for anyone, So let us establish that, because we cannot take the law in our hands.
Okay. Now, Francis, we also heard that a journalist was found dead with gunshot wounds in Bond County. What do you know about this?
Yes, the news broke up today. A journalist was found dead with gunshot wounds, but I yet to see the journalists that were allegedly killed, so I cannot comment much on it. But from where we're getting, the PUL will be coming up with a statement soon, and we hope that the PUL will spell out clearly in blue and white as to what already went wrong and which kinds of investigation the PUL are going to launch into this entire episode since the rural journalists went missing in Bangor County.
Will you also agree that working for the radio station does not mean you are a journalist? You can be a driver, you can be a janitor, and you can also be a guy who just do certain things around the station without being a journalist. Do you agree with that?
Yes. A journalist is not. A journalist is a specific function and a specific education that you go through, okay, that qualify you to become a journalist. So people who working within the media sector, you're a media worker, you're not a journalist. A journalist is a very specific tax and a very specific education that you achieve to make you a journalist. So you have a process to go through. So not everybody who work within the media station or the media entity is a journalist. So he could be a media worker, but he's not a journalist.
Francis,
So
just before we
that
take,
should be
just before we take leave of you, Francis, what your gut feeling is telling you? Are these young men still alive? Do we expect them to see?
From my own analysis, I strongly believe that the young man is dead. I strongly believe that they are dead because from my own analysis, they are not alive. Normally at a diamond rich area, if this place is true that this place is a diamond rich area, it's a very dangerous place to play. Yes, anywhere where it's diamond rich area is a dangerous place to play. And if it is true that they were sailing over the water where they do the diamond mining, trust me, it will be presumed dead.
Thank you, Francis. Francis Nine from Liberia, a Liberian journalist making his way through here tonight. And I will go back to my colleague, Francis, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the night. Shelton?
Thank you so
Yeah, again, there's a long way to go with this whole investigation. I think, Francis' assertion that he believes in his gut feelings that these guys are dead is more subjective. So I wouldn't hold it against him. But quite frankly, we have not established that yet. So the investigation is ongoing, and that's why the body that was found, if of course the declaration that body had bag on because accordingly the guy, the electrician left with his tool bag on his bag. It was a backpack he got in the canoe, and according to one of the people in the canoe, they told him to take it off his back and put it down, but apparently he didn't do that. So my concern is, check the body, irrespective of the IDs fading out. The metal in that bag will not melt, will not.
But Sheldon, this
Yeah.
would be something that we have to talk about. When I spoke with Mr. Blambo earlier, he said it was a fresh body was intact. You just heard the journalist. He said the body was disfigured.
Yeah, so everything is circumspective. Yeah, people giving their own sides of the story. Now, do you believe Francis? Francis, no, not because Francis is not telling the truth. Again, he didn't go to the scene. This is information that going around in the capital that the police released. So until he goes there and see exactly the body and see whether it is decayed to the point where it's not easily identified, or whether this body is fresh with some degree of identification. Now, Mr. Blambo, did he see the body? Has he spoken to say, listen, this is not one of the people? Clearly this guy is not one of the people. No, I don't think he may have seen the body. So we're going to ask him tonight. Did he take picture of the body? Because the other family members are all involved. Did the Sharif family, because I'm hearing the name is Sharif, right? Is it Sharif?
Conan,
Okay.
Mr. Conan.
Did that family had a representation at the scene when the body was found? Right? They will be able to determine, because if he's a part of the family, they will know his backpack. The guy leaves the house every day to go to work. They will know some of his tools, So I think that there's too much of the, not enough facts. People have not seen. They're only saying, of what they've received. And this makes it difficult. Ashford, this makes it difficult.
Okay.
But to your point, it's important that the police spokesperson give factual information.
Of course.
That's their duty, to go, analyze the situation, see what is happening, and bring, pieces of information to the public, so that at least that it can show some kind of degree of commitment to resolving this matter by the government.
And I would encourage the government. I would encourage the rest of the folks in Liberia to come on here and express themselves, because on Mondays and Wednesdays, Shelton, we are easily we have 1.5 million listeners on just 5 radio stations. By the end of the year, we'll have 2.5 million listeners just listening to Bridge Radio. That's broadcast syndication. You sit in one little box and target a few radio stations in the country. Just like that, you are in the entire 15 political subdivisions. So again, we are not political. We're not on the side of the government. We're not on the side of the opposition.
And I hope my position here tonight does not be taken in any direction for anyone to think that I'm supporting Moses, or I'm just trying to be factual here, just analyzing the situation from an journalistic investigative process.
Thank you.
That everything here is all hearsay.
And people in the past, we were saying as some people different, but this time, when you come on here to express your view, I want you to make sure that you have the facts, to protect yourself and to protect the credibility and integrity of the platform. That's what we're asking. With that said, I want to say a big thank you to Derek C., Abi Binda, Deck County, Lincoln, Koto Banayan, Yomotro Krengat, Smith. That way, thank you for your contribution. Just like that, we have enough money to
that's cool.
To bring on Mr. Blambo. But just before we do that, Shelton, again, is the security apparatus, are they doing well to make their citizen feel comfortable? When you listen to international community, and I will say this, the justice minister, his refusal for not coming on to tell the people what is going on, what the international community is saying about people dying in Liberia. Your justice minister, your police director, your information minister. The information minister is very sound. He's our small brother. You know that.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
is very sound. Shelton, go ahead as I try to make contact with Mr. Blambo.
Yeah, I think Ashford, you're right. It is unfortunate, but when you look at, how everything is falling on dead soil, people are not prioritizing what is of significance to the image of the country, and how those issues can create some unintended consequences for our image. They're not being swift. They're not being transparent. They're not, pushing the wheel. Getting things in order it should be.
Shelton, please hold up. I have Mr. Blambo, Mr. Robert Blambo on the line. He's the father of one of the missing young men. Mr. Blambo, hello and welcome to the show.
Yeah, hello and thank you for inviting me on the show.
What do you know as of now? What is going on? I spoke to you earlier today, and you said to me, Ashford, my son is alive. His friends are alive, but they are being held against their will. Please explain. You are now on the international media.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I can make this clear to people around the world. On Sunday last week, we were in the town called Hendy, that's behind Beaumont. And where they had the children kept on the island along the St. Paul River, we got the guy who was pulling the children up there. But the police took about a week and they could not get this guy because get on the island, you needed of 3 boats or helicopter to get on the island. But the traditional chief Zanzibar Kawa was able to use the traditional means and brought it on the island to the town of Fendi. And for the investigation, it was established that he had the children. The children had never, ever entered any canoe. The canoe became a mysterious canoe. It was never seen, and the children did not get on that canoe. In fact, the canoe has the capacity of taking only 2 persons. That is the captain and a rider. Unless the water is absolutely dry, it's the 3rd person. So he explained to us that at no time did he ever use a canoe. So the police got that information because the police were present and did a recording. And after that, the Zanzibar Kawa said, this is the solution to your problem. This guy is the solution to your problem. You don't want your children, yeah, he's there. My own job ends right here because he needed permit to go further. So we came back to Monrovia to obtain the permit, and we brought this guy on the gun that the police were using. But apparently the police on the gun received a telephone call, and they dropped this guy up before we even get to bomb mine. And we did not know this because what they had talking with some traditional people. We did not know this. So all along we thought this guy was in the police custody in Monrovia. When we went to go do a checkup, we found out that the police said they put the man down because the car never had enough space. So they put the prime suspect down along the road. And this guy went back on the island. So when we tried to request the police about this, they could not get any information regarding this guy. So we decided to call the camp. And they said the guy went back. So we had inside there on the camp. And he told us the guy went back. And the car came from Monrovia. They loaded the children on the car and tried to bring the children and brought the children to Monrovia alive. They were not killed, and they brought them back to Monrovia. So Moses sent a car there, and they took the children from the camp for the island, put them on the ferry cross there, and then they brought them to Monrovia. So we know they are in Monrovia and they are alive. The police want us to get the children to more, we can get them to the police. But the police is not helping in Muslim to use some fake evidence to us so that we believe that they are there, then they carry on the ritualistic sacrifices.
So as for
they are alive
Yeah,
in Monrovia,
come
but
and shut
where they
down.
got them, we don't know.
yeah, all right. So let me stop there. He said that there is no evidence that they got in any canoe. So how did they get on the island? If an island should be surrounded by water.
Yes, Moses built a special ferry that floats on our island for his camp to the island. And the ferry is dead now. But if I come from the other side, and that means you have to pass through Bapolu to get to Moses' camp. Then you use the ferry and float across to the island.
So, Mr. Blambo, I have a very important question to ask you. The young man's motorbike that was kept in the other town prior to crossing to the other side of the river to go to Moses' camp, has the motorbike been retrieved? Is there any story anyone can authenticate that the motorbike was ever in the town prior to crossing the river to go to Moses' camp?
From Moses, from Bapolu side and from Totota to Shadowing, they got a major ferry that the former vice president purchased for that river. If you use the Totota side, you can even put a car on that ferry and cross the truck and go on that ferry and cross to go towards Moses' camp. If you come from Bapolu side, you can drive straight through and go to the camp. But to get on the island, Moses has a ferry that he built there, that he took from his camp straight on the island.
Yeah, but the question here I just asked you, has there been any want to present to this investigation that you guys are doing, even as the family, that the young man who was the biker that took your son and the other guy, his bike has been found. Was it left in the village according to the story? Have you guys been able to establish that?
The fact of the matter is a body was found today. That body will only be skeleton.
I'm not talking about body. Ashford, maybe he will hear you clearer. I'm talking about the motorbike.
Blambo, he's not talking about the body. That body issue will come on later on, but he's talking about the motorbike. Go ahead, Shelton.
What's the question?
The question is the motorbike of the biker, the young man who transported your son and the electrician from Monrovia. According to the story, the bike was left in a town prior to crossing the river in the canoe to go to Moses' camp. Has that motorbike been established? Is there any truth? The village that you guys went to in Hindi, was the bike found? Is there any story that there was actually a bike? Because what I'm trying to understand here is people are saying that they didn't cross at that point. So if they didn't cross at that point, did they use just the road the other way through Babolu to get there? So that's what I'm trying to understand. So has the motorbike been found?
Okay, the town where the bike is, when you pass that town, you get to the river, the St. Paul River. But where they show us that they had the canoe capside, it's not possible to find that because it's between the two waterfalls. But if you go up over the waterfall, if you go over the river, there's a official crossing point there where they used. But that crossing point, the guy of canoe that is crossed after the waterfall where the water is calm, they use that side to go during the day.
Yeah, but you still haven't answered the question. The question is the motorbike that transported your son from Monrovia with the electrician or welder. Has that motorbike been found? Was it established that the motorbike was left in the town prior to the crossing? That's the question.
Yes, the motorcycle. I saw it. It's on the motorcycle.
Now,
saw the motorcycle in the car.
Mr. Blambo, when I spoke to you earlier today, you said, Ashford, the children or the young men are not dead. They are alive, but they are being held against their will. And you said to me, Saint Moses, you called name to me. You said Saint Moses is holding these children. Do you still stand by that?
Absolutely. I stand by that. They are still alive.
And why are you blaming Saint Moses? Saint Moses is holding the children, and you still say, why are you blaming him?
You know, I have no other person to blame from Saint Moses because one, Saint Moses told us that Bible lied that the children were involved in a funeral rite, and which is not true. And two, when we got this proper man, it was established that the children, he received them lastly on his island, and they never got on the funeral. It was if we put the kilo on the show, 6 persons will not fit in our kilo. So we knew Moses was telling us a lie. The third thing, Moses called my pirate priest 9 o'clock to inform me that there was a kilo that capsized and our children were all that kilo. And then when he called me on Sunday afternoon, he informed me that he was asleep. He was asleep, and 12:30 Sunday night.
So Ashford.
No. Let him talk.
The regurgitation of the story. What I wanted to ask him.
Hold on, Shannon.
Okay.
Let him talk.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Blamo.
So When he called us on Sunday morning to tell us, he said he was asleep and he woke me up at 12:30 to tell him that there was a killing that cancer. The 3 boys from Monrovia left in the water. If you were told 12:30, how possible was it for you to have informed the pirate police at 9:30 that there was a killing cancer? So apparently you knew about the death of the children before the news started. So we knew you were telling a lie.
Listen, Mr. Blambo, leave that 12:30 or 9:30 stuff. Let me tell you, when I spoke to you yesterday, you said to me, ASHFORD, the government of Liberia has dispatched armed police officers to Bon County in search for the missing men. You realized today when you spoke to me and said to me, ASHFORD, the children are in Monrovia, they're in Monserrado. You couldn't go to the police people, you couldn't go to the justice ministry, you couldn't go to the internet affairs, you couldn't call Zanka Kawa to say, you know what, the children are here. Let's move on and bring the children home. You couldn't do that. But you're coming on here to say my children are alive. Are you seeing this just against sympathy for the people to continue searching? If you know that the children are alive, if you know what they are, you can't call the government to say, you know what, my children are alive and we need them now. Why are you not doing that?
Look, there's a serious conspiracy. There's a very serious conspiracy. In the first place, Zazakawa, who was helping us, have been banned from helping us. They deny him a permit, and that was another way to say, do not get involved. And he received, according to him, several calls from higher ups in government warning him. That was 1. 2, from the onset of this case, the police have never tried to even interrogate Moses, ascertain the whereabouts of the children. Or the police is finding every way possible to convince us that the children are dead. In fact, the police came out to say the children are officially dead and was sending sympathy to us. So nothing we can tell them, convince them, or convince them. The only one what they hear from Moses because he has the cash and he's spending the cash. So even if we knew where they were, we would go there on our own and get them. If we told the police, they will inform Moses, they will move them to another place. If there's no way we can trust anybody now in government, there's no way.
So my question, Mr. Blambo, how did you get that information that they were transported to Monrovia? Who gave you that information? What, and do you believe it's credible information? Did we lose him, ASHFORD?
Yeah, we did lose him, but keep talking to me, get him back on.
Yeah, because it's my thought here. He just said that someone called to tell him, say, oh, Moses brought his car and put the individuals in there and took them to Monrovia. Who is that person? Does he believe the information given him? Because again, see what I'm saying?
He's back on.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Blambo.
So, Mr. Blambo, yeah, so the question I have for you is, you said someone gave you the information that Moses sent car up to the island to collect the children and bring them, or the gentleman to bring them to Monrovia. Who was that person? And do you believe that the information given you is credible enough?
Despite the matter, everybody knew that our target was the island, because we were already convinced that the children were on the island, but it was difficult to get it. So we left with a message and we were coming back to prepare ourselves on Tuesday or Wednesday to go there and search the island and find the children. When the police left Boko, he knew the exact place on the island that the children were. So he had to go back to have them removed. And besides, when we went there, we were able to establish contact with people. We took the numbers of people, we sent them scratch cards and things, so that anything that happens, it will help us, because not everybody on the floor what was happening. how we got the information, and we cannot disclose our source because immediately they will be eliminated. They are helping us. So
Okay.
the people we didn't even follow because we need to not there or don't need to go there.
So I have a question for you. You said that you were there. You know exactly that there's a ferry that goes to the island. The ferry, you said, was purchased by the former vice president, and the ferry commutes to the island. Why do you have to go Maria to gather yourself? Your son is on an island, you know it, but why you jump on the same ferry to go on the island? Why would you take time to go all the way back to Monrovia before trying to gather yourself up to Wednesday? Why couldn't you and the people, your family member, the other family members who were on that side already jump on that very ferry to go across the island and go look for your children?
Thank you. Where the ferry that was purchased by the former vice president is, you don't access that ferry from the area we went through bomb mines. To get on that ferry, you have to come all the way back to Totota. You have to come from bomb mines, you have to come by bomb mines, Kanaka, go to Totota, then you start to go up in Saroye. It's a very long route. And two, the only person who could actually take on that island was Chief Zanzibar Tower because of the traditional setting up there. And Zanzibar Tower promised to help us take us there, but he wanted the permit. So even ourselves, we might just go there on our own. So we needed to get a permit, and then we were going to use that route to go there, or either the other route from Apollo. So we could not just go on our own. And he assured Zanzibar assured us as soon as he gets the permit, we were going to get the children from there to us.
Now,
Of course, he got angry when he found out that the police had released the men. So it destroyed everything.
Mr. Blamo, tell us about the road with Chief Zanzibar now. I know you said to me he got involved. He was very instrumental. And because of his involvement, things changed for the better for you and your family. What role is Chief Zanzibar playing now?
Oh, he backed off because he's been warned and been threatened. So
When you say he backed off, he been warned and been threatened. Who threatened him? Who warned him? Who threatened him? And why would he back off when he assured you that your children were alive and they were going to resurface? Why did he back up?
He said, even if you had the permit, whatever threat was coming, he wouldn't mind. That was then his defense. But since, and we personally went to the Minister of Internal Affairs, and the Minister said he could not issue his permit. He was not going to do it. So the owner said he couldn't get a permit too. He was not going to go there because somebody wanted to set him up. And he was going against the rules. I don't know the traditional rules, but any of us or him both that says all traditional activity was totally abolished and people of what was suspended. So if you were to go there, the first time he went there, he was doing fast swimming. And now you are going to do the work because I think there was a different type of society on the island. So he needed to get himself in his own form to go there. And he needed a permit to do that.
Now,
so if he said he was not going, nothing will be done.
Mr. Conan was on the program a few nights ago. He said the person who claimed to be one of the Kino is the same person, according to you people, is the person that owns the island. How can you be the person that owns the Kino and you can be the same person that owns the island and you are in possession of these people? And all of a sudden, when I spoke to you earlier, you said, oh, the children are still alive. Oh, they're coming here. And Mr. Blambo, I feel your pain because I have a 32-year-old son. I have a 14-year-old son. The pain you are going through right now, if my son is tampered with, a different story. Mr. Blambo.
Liberia is now different, absolutely different. It's not the situation where we have the security trying to help us recover the children and the security giving us backup. Anything we do now, we are going against the government, going against the security forces. And you know what it means? You know what it means? If the police will not invite you to a crime scene and you go there and they come and say, oh, the people came here and were trying to be disgruntled, and perhaps maybe they have guns, so we open fire and kill them. And that's it. We do that right now, and we all gone. So it's not a situation where we're going to go after our son, and then we got a lot of people killed.
So Mr. Blambo, quick, I have a question for you.
Mr. Blambo, hold on. Sheldon, you're coming. But to be quite honest with you, Sheldon, Mr. Blambo, I'm disappointed. I am disappointed to the point where I've called the Justice Minister, the Director of the Liberia National Police, the spokesperson of the Liberia National Police. And these people, I mean, they are making it seem like things are normal. You know what does it mean for Liberia? The international community, why are they not calling the Justice Minister asking questions? I mean, this is just, come on now. You know what does it mean? People can't come to your country. You want investors. You want to live a fake life. You want to have a fake government to just pretend as if things are okay. Go ahead, Sheldon.
Yes, my thought and question here for Mr. Blambo, I remembered you saying that you were a former captain in the army. So you have some degree of fraternity to the military as a former employee of the Armed Forces of Liberia. I'm sure you're able to reach out to the Minister of National Defense, the Chief of Staff, as a former, military man. You also have the Liberia Council of Churches. You have the civil society. You have the media. Are you trying to utilize these pressure groups to help in this process, since the government security apparatus are taking their own time and sniveling with the matter? Or you just going to sit there and fold your hand and say, oh, Zanzakawa was all carry, or he carrying also. We know what we'll do now because of Zanzakawa, who can go on the other side of the world. And if he ain't go now, then we don't know where we're going. Are you reaching out to all these other, groups in the country?
We have tried to exhaust every means to get the government to show some concern about the missing children. But you in the media, you know the IP. Nobody is speaking. Everybody is silent about this. Nobody is speaking. Even I went on another media platform where I call on the Council of Churches, where I call on the Interfaith Mediation Committee. I call all organizations to come to our rescue, even until the opposition political parties to come and help us. I need to advocate on our behalf. Nobody. The other day, group of youth went out on the street the other day just to stay in front of the 3-year-old and put back and say, bring our children back. And they were fired out with tear gas. They are protecting only Muslims installations. Anywhere Muslims have a property, they will put some police there to protect it. Instead of going after Muslims to tell them where our children are. In our country right now, Muslims should be able to tell the people exactly, tell the people they're not getting out, where are the children? And they start asking people, arresting people to get information. But nothing has been sought. They are only protecting every information of Muslims. So who do we go to? Who do we go to? Our lifestyle will be at stake right now. As I speak to you, that I'm a target. It's not easy.
What your gut feeling telling you? Why is the process dragging? Why people are just tight-lipped? What is your gut feeling? Do you think this is beyond Moses? If actually it is him and he's involved? Do you think it's beyond him?
My brother, I wish I could answer that question.
No,
I wish I could
you
answer
can
that
answer that
question.
question because Mr. Conan said this is bigger than Moses, and you communicate with Conan every day. Conan said on this platform 2 nights ago, this is not just about Moses. There's somebody bigger than Moses that is behind the thing here. I know you talk to Moses. Talk to us. Don't make it seem like you want to hide something. Talk to us, Mr. Blamo.
We all know that there's some big hand behind.
Don't make it seem like
Yeah, talk about the BB hand and the fish.
don't make it seem you want to hide something.
We all know that.
Your son
But
is
Your
involved.
son, your only son now alive.
You're not child. You don't know whether the child will come out alive. Then you know something. You tell me, say you don't know. You know if you said that some hand bigger than Moses is behind, why you can't call the big hand name so we can know you are on an international platform, Mr. Blambo. What is the big hand that behind the thing that you know that we don't know? Please talk to us.
You know, we are investigating, and as soon as we can get the link and we have facts and proof, I will not be afraid to tell you because it concerns the life of my son. We are investigating. You know, people try to tell us, and they are also kind of afraid. So they want us to make sure that we can protect their names. So they will get the information and they want to give us the information with facts. So that when we call names here and they invite us, we can be able to provide those. Because if I call an Indian now today, tomorrow morning you see my whole house around with police side and say, can't go through this. And you get through there, you go to jail. You know that.
I think that's fair enough.
Yes, sir.
That's fair enough. I mean, you know, again, I respect your confidence that your son and the others are alive. Even though the stories, you know, all over the place, there are 2 schools of thought here. One say they got drowned, the other say they are alive. My hope for you in the process is that, you know, quite frankly, in my own God's feeling, I don't want to, you know, say that they're dead because I wish death on no one. And I side with you so that we hope that this can come to light and those young men, if they are alive, you know, can be reunited with you all.
Now, Mr. Blambo, do you still feel confident that you will one day, Mr. Blambo, do you still feel that you get a hug from your son? Mr. Blambo? Okay. Sheldon, this is what we're going to do.
You know, sometimes when you're on WhatsApp, people do a lot of calling and then it interrupts the connection.
Right. This is what we're going to do. We're going to open up the telephone line. Where folks calling. The number to call is 313-408-8396. But let me try to reconnect with Mr. Blambo. We have enough credit now. The folks here have spoken. You know, they have visited the Cash App and
contributed.
Yeah. So the number to call, just in case you want to ask a question, is 313-408-8396.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Blambo.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this as a friend and big brother. Do you still feel that you will hug your son? Your son will come out alive. Like you said to me this afternoon, Ashford, my son is not dead. The 2 other people are not dead. I still believe that my son will come out and I will reunite with my son. Do you still believe that, Mr. Blambo?
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you there, Mr. Blambo? Where do you get that conviction?
Why are you so confident?
What kind of branding do you come up?
Why are you so confident, Mr. Blambo, that you will reunite with your son? Why are you so confident?
And you know, as for especially him knowing that there's a lot of big hands, behind the scenes. So where does he draw that confidence from?
Exactly. Mr. Blambo, can you hear me? Did you hear the question?
You kind of broke on the next one. Kind
Okay.
of bad.
You are so confident that you will reunite with your son. Why are you so confident, Mr. Blambo? Why are you so confident?
I'm also confident
Yes,
that I will get my son back alive, right?
that's right.
Yeah, especially knowing that there's a lot of big hands behind this situation.
You know, I'm a Catholic, I'm a Christian, and I believe in God. I believe in the power of God over the devil. Once they want to use the children for ritualistic sacrifices, and we are praying, there's nothing more stronger than prayers. We are praying and we press, we are getting information. People who we don't know are helping us and giving us information. So we know by the grace of the Almighty God, we are confident that we will get those children back alive.
ASHFORD, before you go to the line, please, you said that earlier Mr. Blambo told you that the body that was found was fresh. We did speak with Francis earlier. Could Mr. Blambo clarify here today whether he saw the body of the person that was found by the police with a backpack on the back?
That's right. Mr. Blambo, when I spoke to you earlier today, you said the body was fresh. And it has been 13 days. When I spoke to a local journalist earlier, he said something contrary. Tell us about what you said today when I spoke to you about the body that they found.
Well, I said, logically, if a body stays in the water for 13 days, one, the dog will not be on the back of that body. Two, you will not see a body, with flesh. You will see the skeleton. After 13 days in the water, let the police director put his feet in the water for 4 days and see what happens to it. Before 13 days. So I'm not seeing the body, but once they tell me that body is in shape, then obviously they threw that body in the water like yesterday or day before yesterday. And that's a fact.
But the journalist did say that the body didn't have clear identification. And also, you also want to consider that it depends on the kind of water. Not every water has the kind of chemical to process the dead right away. The ocean, the rivers, the creeks, they're all different kinds of water, right? You agree with me?
I'm getting you. But that water is flowing from the waterfall and has a lot of pressure. In fact, the guy who was pelting the ceiling said when he went into the water, the jeans trousers he was wearing, the water removed the trousers so he came all half naked. So if the water
Okay, we'll try to call him back. But
So, actually, I think he needs to see the body rather than, speculate that the body is fresh.
as we try to reconnect with Mr. Blambo, why don't we go to the telephone line? And we have 7486. 7486, the last 4 digits of your number. You're live on the radio. Tell us your name.
Probably you lost that caller.
Oh, he's still there. 7486. What is your name? You live on the radio. Okay. Man, the phone is busy. And 0065. Tell us your name. The last 4 digits of your number. Hello, you live on the radio. 0065. What is your name? You live on the radio. Hope I'm not doing anything crazy here. Then we have 2772. You're live on the radio. What is your name? What? Shutting come in. For some reason, we're not going through.
You think it's the connection?
It's not the connection. The lines are fine. The guys, they will probably have to meet your phone. We have
Somebody's trying to call.
2359. Tell us your name.
Oh, thank you for having me. ASHFORD, this is Mr. Brown calling from Florida. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir. You're live on the radio. Go ahead and ask a question.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for the onset that you took onto the case and continue to bring the information to us, and we're all stand by to follow this case and see how it goes. I see that you are asking Mr. Blambo questions as far as telling you some of the big hands behind these issues in Liberia. And I think Mr. Blambo is actually fighting for his life, his family life, as well as his children. Mr. Blambo, as he stands right now with a case that is going on in Liberia with the missing children, I would tell you he stands as a red deer in the middle of 5 giant lions. And you're telling him to take a complaint of the lion, the male lion, to the female lion. All right? So it's very difficult. That man is going through some stress. He's traumatized right now. There are some things that he's going to say that will not even be accurate. Think about it, ASHFORD. All right? So I just want to commend his bravery and let him stand strong and know that people around the world are watching.
Thank you.
And ASHFORD, you said something about the international community. When you talk about the international community, ASHFORD, your days in Liberia international community work as they stand right now, force that is sent over there for peacekeeping forces and stuff, they are all in the pockets of the government. So what kind of international community? We sit there and look at all the kills going on in the country, and then also this time, no communication anywhere from airports or anywhere. So Mr. Blambo, remain strong. The Liberian people are watching, and we'll continue to pray for your family. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Moses on the line. Moses Sandy on the line from Delaware. Moses, you're live on the radio.
Yeah, ASHFORD, thanks for the opportunity. Good evening to my friend and brother for Kevin Shelton.
Welcome, Mo.
Mine is not a question. I just want to express a candid opinion. I have consistently followed this tweet about the missing men. And honestly speaking, as a dad, I empathize with the situation of the parents. But from my own assessment, I think to conclude that happening in one country was just I strongly believe that, I may be wrong, but I strongly believe that those gentlemen are dead. Because the parents themselves are consistently giving us conflicting information. I listened to Mr. Blambo reported that they got in touch with the police volunteered to provide 25 police officers to go to one country to investigate. And now we're hearing, so there were some men on the island who went, Moses and a group of people, and they took the people from there. And they're just too much, hard to give information, people are just throwing information here and there. And people are making wild allegations, there is the working of people in evidence, it makes it worse. And this situation is just it's almost 2 weeks now since these people, since these men went missing. You know, I think we just need to cooperate with government, they need to cooperate with security to get to the bottom of this matter.
Thank you, Moses.
There's just too much misinformation.
Thank you. Thank you, Moses.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Sandy. Okay, we have 5464. Tell us your name.
Actually, there's a lot of feedback and distortions.
Yeah, hello, my name is Mama from Venezuela.
Now, okay, moment, hello. Now, if you are not speaking, can you please mute your device? Because I just don't want to turn you off. If you are in queue to speak next, please turn just mute your device. Okay? Thank you so much. Go ahead, sir.
Hello?
Yes.
You're talking about
5464. Go ahead and speak, please.
how you doing? Okay, my name is Frederick Babadi.
Frederick, you have 1 minute, please. I beg you. A lot of folks in line.
Firstly,
don't tell us thank
hello?
you. Just go ahead and go to the point, please. Don't tell us thank you.
Okay, the main reason I'm calling is because I've been monitoring the show, and there was a lot of questions I was asked. And one thing I want to dwell on is that when you guys were asking the father that whether he has created any awareness by going through the, let's say, the defense ministry or the police director and so on. I think we're not supposed to be saying this thing because with what went on, we all are witness of, being watching what is unfolding. And there were so many awareness created. I don't think they had to go extra than what they did. They have done what they needed to do, and the government should have been, let's say, get in charge of what is going on and make sure that they inform the general public on the situation about the life of the three gentlemen.
Okay, your time is up. We have 30065. Please tell us your name. You're live on the radio. Go ahead, make a point, please. You have 1 minute.
Yes. Okay. Yes. My frustration with this case.
Speak a little bit louder. You're coming in thin.
Okay. Hello. Can you hear me better? My frustration with this case is much more so with the inability of the law enforcement system in Liberia to investigate the case early. We all know that you can apprehend somebody without even having evidence of foul play, especially in the case of these deaths or the missing people. What the police or law enforcement is supposed to do is first of all question the individual because they've gotten conflicting stories about this particular case. So since Mr. Moses took the people to wherever they went and they got missing, police are supposed to call him for questioning and compare that whatever information he gave them to what information that he provided to the family. And see, at the very least, you can arrest somebody for misleading law enforcement, and then you apprehend the person, then go down and get down to the in the case and see if the person has nefarious intent or committed a crime. That you can hold him. But at the very least, somebody's supposed to be in police custody right now for misleading the police. That's a crime.
Thank you.
And so,
thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We have, geez. 9175. 9175. Tell us your name.
Hello, my name is Philip Siankon.
You live on the radio. Go ahead, make a point.
One thing I should let everybody know, Liberian in Liberia. The most important thing the Liberians need to do now is they're not going to get nothing from the government. They need to have a demonstration. Comes on December 8th. Nobody should go and vote. They should stand until the government can come out
Okay. We just missed that. We want to go back to Mr. Blambo, to come in. Mr. Blambo, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here, I'm here.
Okay. You heard some of these colors. They are concerned. They want to make sure
Now,
that
who got a young bear, Ashford?
justice come. Hold on. Let me see. Justice comes to you, and what is your response from hearing from these callers, Mr. Blambo?
Right now we have all realized that our government is not prepared to help us. Our government is not prepared to help us. We are grieving and we are frustrated. We're spending a lot of money going from here, there, Yana to see how we can get information, how we can get to the crime scene, how we leave the crime scene, how we run after ministers and directors, and how we go around. We are very stranded right now. So if our brothers in the diaspora can come to our income, I mean, just to talk to our government so that they can give us justice. If the police want us to have our children today, 1 hour from now, it's a simple thing, they can do it. So we'll be very pleased if our brothers and sisters in the diaspora can come to our aid. Talk to this government so that we can get involved. We then try to see how we can get in touch with the president. There's no way. There's no way. Whether he's hearing this or not, we don't know.
Ashford.
Get in touch with the justice minister. Today we have to go to the Female Lawyer Association to appeal to them and the family to help us advocate our behalf on Monday. So you see where we're going. The churches are not saying anything. All of the related organizations are not saying anything.
Hold on, Mr. Blambo. Let me bring Volcano in. Shelton, you were saying something?
Yeah, no, I mean, what I wanted to share with you and Mr. Blambo, do we think that things are dragging and the trend being taken here have to do with all of the people involved, according to, from Mr. Blambo and the other family member, saying that there are big hands in this? And so there's a lot of shame that's going to come out of this. And so the delay is something that, will buy some time for, to drag this until everyone gets weak before, the ritualistic actions can take place, if that's what it is. Or is it true that these guys were drowned, but we don't have the kind of logistics to really research and find the remains? Mr. Blambo?
Mr. Blambo, are you still
Hello?
there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. He just asked a question. He just asked.
I think that question is clear.
Okay.
All right. So the question here is, do you think that this whole thing is dragging on because, accordingly, from you and even the other family member, from the other guy, one of the victims, is that there's a lot of big hands in the matter, and so it would bring a lot of shame, and that's why the police lacks a difficult approach and dragging the process of the investigation, the misinformation, and all of that coming to you, to all of you, or actually these guys did drown, but because our country lacked the logistics and the resources to really come the St. Paul River to its depth to be able to discover the bodies in time. Do you think that these are two reasons why all of this is happening?
Precisely. These are some of the reasons. Maybe they try to wait until we are frustrated, exhausted, and we are just like tired now. Nothing can be done. and then we just gave up, and they can do what they want to do. Now we see it. Because I tell you, my dear brother, one representative dropped his ring for his finger into the water. The very thing that they said the kingdom capsized. And the traditional people were able to go to the bottom of the water and find that ring and bring it out. What about the human beings? What about the kingdom? So
Yeah, but you gotta understand that you gotta understand the ring fell to one spot. And in the moment they went and searched. In the other case, if the kingdom if the kingdom did capsize, and the water is rolling, the body will float or will go along with the water. So let us not use that analogy to create belief.
Okay, this caller has been very persistent. Yuli Mumbo, you live on the radio. You have just 1 minute, my brother. Go ahead, ask the question.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Let me be blunt with you and let me be precise. I follow your conversation. I follow your program religiously. I want Mr. Blambo to be factual and to the point. This is a matter of life and death. This is a matter of my son who have been kidnapped. Whether he is killed or not, we can't tell. But I'm 100% sure that the boys are not alive. Who has given this information to Mr. Blambo? Who is telling Mr. Blambo that the children are alive? ASHFORD. I want to be emphatic about this. Where is he getting the information from? Who is Zanzankawa talking to that the children are in the poor society? Who giving Zanzankawa the information? ASHFORD? Where is Zanzankawa taking us to? Who is he meeting? ASHFORD, let's be serious here, man. Mr. Blambo, let's be serious here. What is going on? If there's anything you know about your children, let the people know. We need to rise up. Because that's the beginning. It started from Newswap. It started from Gifty and Peters. Today is you, Blambo. Will you reconcile the death of your children? ASHFORD? Mr. Blambo need to be emphatic and tell us exactly what is unfolding. What is happening? There are things that are going on. You need to tell us that we need to know. It's a matter of life and death.
Thank you.
But we've been doing a little investigation. And the investigation is telling us.
Thank you.
That the government is playing, Blambo is playing, and Moses is playing. There's a game plan, mastermind by all of them. They know what's happening. They need to tell us. Why you think the government is so lackadaisical? Why the government is not speaking to the issue? Why the government is so quiet and mean about this? If the president is supposed to protect the citizens, why is he not protecting the people? Why is he so silent? Why the government is so quiet? Why is the religious community so quiet? Because they too understand the variables. Let us be factual and be frank. Let Blambo tell us what is going on.
Thank you, Mondo. Mondo, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will go back to Mr. Blambo, and we will call this a night because we have gone almost 2 hours now. Mr. Blambo, we just want you to come in with your closing statement. We want to say a big thank you to you for taking the time of the busy schedule, Mr. Robert Blambo. But just before we do that, before we bring you in with the closing statement, I will allow my professional colleague, Mr. Shelton, to come in. But before we do that, sometimes I have to be biased. And at this time, I have my friend and brother, Murphy, to be the last caller. Murphy, you're live on the radio. Go ahead and ask a question.
Thank you, ASHFORD. Well, for me, it's not a question. I just think that the families, they are fighting against all odds, and they are fighting alone. They shouldn't even trust the Liberian people. The Liberian people are not people to trust for anything. And I'm one of those who in my heart of hearts, think that those children are not alive. It's hard to believe. And Mr. Blambo is behaving like, they say somebody died. Everybody will be crying, oh, I'm believing. The day of the funeral, they will open the casket, you see the person, you will not believe it. Maybe the day of the burial, when the person has been put in the hole, then I want to know that the person is dead for true. So I know the faith. Everybody, I'm a Christian, everybody got that kind of strong faith. Because you can see every day he's getting information, but like you said, nobody's helping him. The opposition, the council of churches, let the Liberian people around the world stop telling Mr. Blambo, go do this, go do that, because nobody will help him. The very people you want go, how you got it, if they beat him or kill him now, he will die along with his son. Nobody should do that, and the kind of thing Liberians like all over the world and would not support it. We shouldn't do that, especially when you're not in the country. This man is fighting against all odds. The police, you heard the man. Nobody coming to his rescue. Let him just give it to God. Whatever they want to do, I will not stop them. But I will not encourage them to go do anything that will even put them in more jeopardy. But remember, government scheme before. And we had tyrants that people disappear. And those people who are living, they are no more. The Egyptian we see today, we might see them no more. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelton. I think we will conclude the program, but I want to go to Mr. Blambo. Mr. Blambo, I want to, just before you come in with your closing statement, I want to say thank you for the coverage and thank you for believing in us. And I have a 32-year-old son. I have a 14-year-old son. And I will be in the same shoes you're in now. But I would take it a step further. How it been in my kids. I know you are bleeding from within. I can't describe how you feel right now because you're only a boy. You can feel and touch him. And for you to stay strong, to come on media platform, to talk the way you talk. Your days of Bunk County, where you fixed motorbikes. You took other people's children like your own children. Today, you are on the outside trying to put hands around your son. People, according to you, betrayed you. You have people who you trusted, like the Zoes. You can't get anything concrete out of them. Stay strong, keep the faith, and only God will tell us whether these boys are still alive or not. Mr. Blambo, your closing statement.
Yeah. You know, I want to say thank you very much as for you are there, our help. And right now, as I speak to you, for like 12 consecutive days, my wife is lying, crying, and sick. She can't bear the situation. Sometimes I'm in the bush for 5 days walking from place to place. And I also thinking what is the situation at home with my wife. Because she will not be as strong as I am. And so that I have to.
We just lost it.
Yeah.
Shelton, you can keep talking. Let get him to conclude his, parting comments.
Yeah. Apparently, someone probably called and
yeah. Let's see who can make contact.
Yeah.
And because I think it's important that he concludes before we. Okay.
Yeah. As I was saying,
yes.
I don't even know where she can keep up for maybe the next 1 week if this thing continues to drag on. It's horrible. It's terrible. All I can say, I just put it in the hands of God. We have done nothing to anybody in this country for us to deserve what we are going through. The security are not helping us. Nobody is coming to ask us a simple question. From the day this thing happened, one police officer has not come to ask for how the situation. But in that, I was tired of the show. That's the interesting part. But they are there. One police officer, one, has not come to either of the families who have raised their children. You can see how isolated we are. So we're asking God to touch the hearts of people around the world to see how they can talk to our brother officials so that they can give us justice. We want our children back. We are not dead. Let them return our children to us. We don't have money to take money to work. We don't have money to fight government and fight the business behind this. Only God now will depend on only God to survive the ability of my family and ourselves. We sit here today, tomorrow. We don't even have gasoline for our vehicle to go out. So we'll be taking him to go out tomorrow. I think somebody can that's with small money to get gasoline to go out. Then we'll be able to go and do some running around. I can't even make a full call. I can't afford the splash stars right now. We are in Salsa. Those gold mines, and back going are coming. We still almost close to $600, $700, $800. And nobody is giving us a dime. This is what we're going through. So we're asking God, those of our brothers and sisters who will feel for us in the diaspora, we don't want money, we only want justice. We want our children back. Just to help us advocate on our behalf. That's all we want. The children are not dead, let them return the children to us. We have no claim on them. We have no claim. We can't fight them. That's our major appeal. It is this wish to the president in the Republic of Liberia. Because nobody is able to say, okay, let's take that to the president so the president can enforce this mandate. Everybody, if you go to the other minister, they tell you my hands are tied. You go to the other director, they tell you my hands are tied. I don't know what's tying them. So we just ask God to listen to them and see how we can release our children, that's all. As everybody, churches are, most of the churches will call us and say, they're praying, that's all. And we accept the prayers because they're keeping us praying. I want to say thank you. But we are frustrated. You know, in a country called a no man's land. That's where we are. Anybody can do anything. We treat our children like chickens. And do what they want to do with them. And nobody asks a simple question. Just depending on God. There is a final judgment on our children. If we can deliver our children to us, we will be highly grateful. That's all we want. My son. And the other people, they want their children. The other girl, her only son. And we are all families who are very close to Moses. We have Moses select our children to deliver to some big hands for ritualistic sacrifices. Yeah. And people sitting there because it's not their children, so we don't care. Only thing they hear for that, our hands are tied. We would love to help you, but we can't do anything about it. And that's it. So tomorrow, we get this small money, we want to go to the girl and that's just to ask them to help us. How do we get there? So the captain right now, we were so sure about the traditional chief helping us with our children the last week. So we exhausted everything, even to the extent to fuel time all to go. We have to honor right. We have to honor right the transportation police 2 times. Any police, transportation, down, food, money, and everything. They're coming from us who are greedy. We are honor right because my own country. So that was very true. Now, after we have sorted everything we had, they're just waiting for us to get tired now and then they do what they want to do. And that becomes the commentary after the news. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm grieving, terribly grieving in work. I can fight not to cry because again my hands are tired. Thinking I can't do nothing. If I need to go on now in the street, how many of us can fire to see how many questions for what? What do you do? So we just sit down and finally pray and after that we cry small and don't be sleep. I sit down the very first food for me to eat. I can't even eat. Because I don't know if my son has been fed for a couple of days. If my feelings are where they are. You don't know the condition again. Somebody brings you the food. You have to eat it. How? The child who you come from work, you after prayer, you're happy, you support together. You go over with you. And you know it's a life. And when it's eating, or when they're giving medication, or so, nothing. You don't know. You have to be comfortable to even eat on your own. I've sworn upon my holy communion. I went 3 days just drinking water. And then I started to eat. I come home, I know my wife lying on the ground, she's crying like that. I think I'm comfortably sitting down and watching us go through the hardship, the situation. It's so bad with all the radio and they talk anything you feel like talking. And that's it. And without this show, maybe they can't after all the things, I can't grab on and go and slap our street. So the police guy don't call it all this way. You break it, the police publicly. I don't know. I tell you also, whatever help, don't need cash, whatever help you can do for advocacy so that you protect the heart of those guys who are our children to turn them over. We be very grateful to you and to God. That's our humble appeal.
Hold on, Mr. Blambo. Sure, you can come in. Now, whatever money we collected tonight, I will send everything to Mr. Blambo to help him out. And folks, if we can do anything with the cash app that you see on there and the Zelle, please do some type of contribution, and we'll send every penny that we collected tonight to Mr. Blambo and his family to help him in his fight. Shelton, I said to you, bro, I have a 14-year-old son and I love my son, Ashford Goddard Jr. I love my first son, who I named after my father, my late father that was murdered, Jimmy Papi Goddard. I can't describe what he's going through now, bro. This is the man's son. Your prayer child. The first 2 died. 3 children. If this boy doesn't come back home, shut up. I mean, you have 3 children died. I'm going to pin the cash app on there.
Yo.
I'm going to pin the
cash
app on there.
For? What will I be looking for now? What will I be looking for? What will I be looking for?
So Ashford, I saw how emotional you got. I feel the pain for Mr. Blamo, whether his son and the other young men are dead or alive. So long he's caught in a place where he doesn't know what the truth is, even though he's convinced that his boy and the others are alive, there's still that period of questioning. At some point, he comes to the realization maybe they could be right. Maybe they drown, or maybe they've already killed them. You know.
How can people?
Yeah, and that alone can be emotionally draining, psychologically draining.
You have your own children.
Yeah.
You want to kill somebody? Why you can't kill your children? Why you gotta kill somebody else's child? You know. I mean, it's just not fair.
And let's practically look at the truth in the ritualistic aspect of, in the sense where we've known over the years and in our upbringing that it takes somebody closer, right, to deliver if it's ritualistic killing. So let's put it in a hypothetical. Say if Moses is actually involved, he's known Mr. Blambo for more than 35 years. That brings him closer to the family. Accordingly, the son calls him uncle. So that in itself is the premise, if that is the truth, because of the closeness. But again, come back to the conclusion of all of this. We cannot assume, as journalists, we can receive the information, but we have to question. And I know some of the callers thought that our questioning was a little harsh, but that's what we should be doing. Because we can't say Mr. Blambo is also innocent. We don't know. Neither can we say Moses is innocent. We don't know. We can just analyze the fact, ask the question, and I'm sure Mr. Blambo understands, from whence I speak. So we just want to wish him well in this journey. We will continue to put, fire under the pot to boil this water until it begins to spill in the coming days, in the coming weeks. But the truth will come to light. And no matter how long it takes, justice will be served. And that's my hope for him and for the people of Liberia.
What? Hold on. I have on the book here $452. I would remit this $452 to Mr. Blambo, and Mr. Blambo, I collected $452 tonight. I will send every penny to you. I know what you're going through. Liberia is a tough terrain, and I can see myself in your situation because, like I said, I have sons, I have daughters, and stay strong. Continue to stay strong.
Yeah, with others.
Yes. Now we are going to $549, and people are still contributing. And I will say this. Last night, I spoke with Moses, and Moses said to me that Ashford, I'm disappointed. And I asked Moses, why are you disappointed? He said, a video came up and somebody was talking about breaking news. After you interviewed me, you were saying breaking news. I said, Moses, I beg you, check yourself. I don't do breaking news. There was another person that was talking breaking news. You refuse to talk to everybody, and you say, Ashford, because of the role you play as a journalist, I will only speak to you. Why would I come and say breaking news? And he said, but you interview BLAMO, you interview other people. I said, because I am not a yellow journalist, I have to get the facts from all sides. Speaking to you to get your side does not mean that I can talk to other people. Only God will let us know what happened. And Shelton, you'll be surprised. Moses said, we hope we can find the kids. He said it to me. And I am not the guy, we talk.
So was it
a journalist not to recall people unknown to them, and I am not that type of person. But he said to me that we hope we can find the children. Shelton.
So do you construe that to be that they're living, or he means that finding the bodies?
What
that would be something to think about, because accordingly they haven't found the bodies, right?
No,
I'm just looking at it in a balanced perspective. He didn't declare, I hope we can find the children alive. He just said, I hope we can find the children.
I didn't hear.
He said, so I'm just saying that the children are missing.
Yes.
The physical evidence is missing, whether dead or alive. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just saying, so I hope we can find the children. I hope we can find the children alive. Then I will be wondering what the hell he means. So I think that's a good information, but we can keep that thought there, because the evidence could be dead or alive.
Mr. Blamo?
Yeah.
Okay. People will still contribute, but just so you know, the total amount we have collected now is $1,000, $1,000 US, and I will send everything to you to help you do your little running around. And I want to say thank you to all of you here tonight for what you've done.
Especially the contributors.
That's right. To help out Mr. Blamo and the rest of the family members. Mr. Blamo, I will send this money through TipMe. There's an application called TipMe. When you're in Liberia, just go on your smartphone and download TipMe. Now, even if you don't have the application, the headquarters is on 20th Street. TipMe is just the simpler way where you can get money. I will send all of this money to TipMe Liberia on 20th Street. Go there first thing tomorrow morning. As soon as I get off the air tonight, people are still sending money. Mr. Blamo. I will send every penny through TipMe, and you receive the money tomorrow. Stay strong. Stay strong, Mr. Blambo.
I'm highly grateful.
I know things are tough.
I mean, we kept praying, and we're happy that we can receive the money. But we hope that they will also speak for us.
And I'm coming to Liberia next month. Mr. Blanc, I'm coming to Liberia next month. And I will try to make contact with you. No human being can scare me of coming to my own country. I didn't do anything wrong for people to scare me or coming to I am not coming to make trouble. I am coming because I believe Liberia needs men. Now, when I'm in Liberia and doing my radio show, I will not be in costume like I do yet, because I know it's extremely hot. I will find some, short sleeves, t-shirt to do my show, but I'll be in Liberia. I will go from district to district, county to county. Listen, the people in Liberia want to do the right thing, but they have not been given the opportunity. You think I can top out the information ministry in Liberia? You think I can top out EFBC? No. Are they given the opportunity to do the job? I am in this position because of the passion I have for this. I go and work hard and use my own money and buy equipment. And today, because the people follow us, they know our hearts. Look what they have done tonight. Just to help you out, you have $1,100 US that we have raised tonight. Mr. Blamo, stay strong.
Thank you.
We are hoping
very much
that things will turn out the way you want it. And Shelton,
that's our plan.
You want to say something before he leaves?
Yeah, I think I did, but I can sum it up by saying, Mr. Blamo, be strong, take courage. I like your spiritual drive. It's critical in these times of confusion. That's how I would put it, because you don't know, where all of this is going, the direction, but continue to seek God's guidance. He speaks in ways that sometimes we don't understand, but our patience, bring us to the light and to the truth. So I will encourage you. I will encourage the other family members attached to the other gentleman, because it's not all about you. There are 3 people here missing, and we'll continue to keep this flame alive. I'm sure Ashford going to bring me back to discuss this issue. Is become critical, uh, because for 3 promising young men to just disappear in thin air, up to now we have not found, the evidence, meaning the living or dead bodies. It speaks volume, and we think that we cannot lay it to rest. We have to continue to, follow this issue until we can find, the truth. So again, be strong. Hopefully the Liberian people will continue to support you in this endeavor. Why it is true that the government is slow about it, and there are some big hands involved allegedly, and people continue to say their hands are tied. The Lord can do anything, so we'll hope that God will loosen some of those tied hands, that they will begin to speak the truth. So again, be strong. Thank you for the opportunity to have interacted with you.
Thank you. And Mr. Blamo, just for the record.
God bless you. God bless you.
Just for the
God
record, we
bless
have
you.
$1,200, Mr. Blambo. Some people don't want us to call their names, but they are all touched just from your story tonight. Go get some sleep. The fact that you are up this late, Mr. Blambo, God bless you. Stay strong and remain blessed. I will talk to you tomorrow morning. And
Thank you very much.
Get to download the application on Tip Me. Tip Me Liberia is the newest application where you can pay your bills online and do all kinds of things with it. So if you are not familiar with Tip,
and send money for cheap, right?
Send money for cheap. Very simple. Good night, Mr. Blamo.
God bless you all, the diaspora, for the help. We pray that God replenish what you've done for us. I will pray that this amount will be able to help us buy scratch cards for all our contacts, so that they can be able to help us in getting the information we so desire. Thank you, and may God bless you all. As for, we will never forget you. May God bless you and your family.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Shelton, what a night.
It was very, very, very tough, touching. Again, man, listen. I'm just wishing for the best.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, yeah, I was saying I'm just wishing for the best outcome. It's a difficult thing to be stuck in between a rock and a hard place. I'm sure this guy don't sleep at night. He's having, nightmares. The wife he claims is in a state of deplorable, condition, and that can take a toll on the health, and they're not young people, to say the least. So I'm just hoping that something can come out of this. And oftentimes when you watch, forensic files here, families like closure. Whether the truth, come to light, if that family member is dead, what is important is that closure. It's very important, to end the story. And until that takes place, the lives will never be the same, So let's just hope for a closure.
Shelton, the international community is watching.
Yeah.
And Liberia is a very unique country. Liberia has a very close ties with the United States of America. What is the Justice Ministry doing?
I don't think the pressure is enough yet.
Organization, they're all watching. They all know that people are dying.
I don't think the pressure is enough yet. And also, come to think about it, and let me move from a journalism background and speak like a Liberian man, a simple Liberian man. To be honest with you, what if they bang buying the thing, all the other thing then, they put everything in one place to bang buy it, so everybody can just be, slow about it. The international community can say, listen, we're focusing on other things. The internal people, the Liberian people, oh, we're looking at senatorial race, we're looking at this race, or we're looking at the referendum, so many things coming about. But again, do they have bang by the situation of all that is happening? Yeah, it's possible, right?
Yeah.
That one made everybody just slow about it. Do you remember the situation with Moses Tuai back in the day? President Tolbo and Allen Yancey and A.B. Anderson and all those people?
Yes, sir.
This is something similar. They kept Moses Tuai for days and there were big fish. Big fish. You and I know it. Francis Gimpa, all those folks who were involved. They kept Moses Tuai for days before they finally decided to carry on the act in Allen Yancey's yard, according to the evidence and the witnesses. Omen Barkley, who was the butcher, Miss Tanyano, who was the only female among them. All those people were hung by President Tolbert because it was too much, So this could be similar, where they drag it for days.
Sheldon, this man is crying out. He wants to reunite with his son. You listen to Mr. Conan. Mr. Conan said he's from the Vartan and Clarendon era. They don't play. They want to reunite with the sons. How do you think this is going to play out? Will we see the kids come by alive?
Again, I mean, God, anything can happen, and God is all powerful. But again, I continue to say that because so many stories coming about. One group is holding on to them being alive. Another group is certain that it passed as a result of the canoe capsizing. It's hard until there's closure. And I think the security can do much more rather than being slow. I think it's time that the government, speaks about it in a way that it can create some kind of attention that the government is doing something about it. Rather than everybody being tight-lipped and nothing is being said. I think it's important that the government come, to the picture now, because it's dragging. It's 13 days. Why it is true that they don't have the logistics? We still have the manpower. Liberians can galvanize the strength in numbers. Everyone can be involved. You see here when someone is missing in a community, everybody goes to the bush. People taking stakes here and there, going in the swamps, looking for that missing person within the vicinity. We think that so many people now in Liberia, we're no longer the 2.5 million people, we're 5 million. There's a lot of people that can go on a such mission if they want to. But again, so many stories coming out. So we just gotta follow it and hope that we can gain some kind of closure.
Well, my man, your closing statement. You are going to be back on Bridge, and your segment or your show will be on Bridge, my man. You have too much left in you.
Coming soon.
you have to come home with this stuff.
Coming soon. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a passion. You know how we ran behind this thing, how we used to walk, how we used to crawl, how we used to climb, going up to go sweating,
And salary was $10, right?
Man, I never listen. LBS still owing me one.
We we're committed with our job and we did what we had to do.
Yeah, LBS owed me 15 months of salary, and I heard when Ellen came. Listen, though, this is serious stuff. When Ellen came, she paid. They all the back pay. So my money went in somebody's pocket.
You still own my money too. It went in somebody's pocket as well.
Yeah, we got to pay all the back pays. Yeah, so I need to go audit the finance office there to see where my money went. My man Ledger, who is not there now, so but it was prior to Ledger, who I think it was Ambrose Ma. So I need to catch up with my man to ask him where my money went. But no, yeah, so you're right. We've threw our lives on the line, but we enjoy what we did.
Oh, we perform at the very best with limited resources. Shouts to the High Kiss FM, who were EOBC. They had the best equipment, but we performed as if we were BBC in Liberia with no equipment. And you remember that?
Yeah, sorry. There was a power glitch just now. Yeah, with very limited resources. We didn't have technology to our advantage, but we did good with what we had. And we did it with professional poise. And I think, our time was the best.
Of course. Well, thank you, brother. Enjoy the rest of the night, and we'll stay in touch. My man. Good night, brother. And folks, I'm afraid it's so the time I have to be with you. God willing, I will be back on Sunday afternoon. I have a little special contract Sunday. If you don't see me on Sunday, then I will talk to you on Monday night. Until then, please allow me to borrow the wordings of the wise man. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. The height of a man is never known until he rises, because there's no second chance to make that first impression. Don't see okra and swallow bone, because you can't hide your nakedness from giving bucket. When God bless you, don't see that medicine. A bald-headed man does not walk on the moonlight. Boro blaye pare ko your boro say yeah ule no muzo ni won je madobo to try adu wapo. The brother who doesn't eat iron, but he's definitely stronger than a lion. The medicine of the microphone, the golden voice of Liberia.
$200 bonus. Open a BMO Harris Smart Advantage account.
And guess what? The broadcast commissioner, yours truly, ASHFORD, the giant, the now you know me GARLEY. And I just want to say a big thank you to all of you who took time out tonight. I'll contribute. Just for Mr. Blambo and the rest of his folks that are bleeding right now. May God continue to bless you. May God continue to bless Liberia. Strengthen those who find themselves in the security apparatus, that they can go and investigate and solve issues. The international community, human rights groups, we need you to come to Liberia now. It seems as if the government is overwhelmed. Why should people be dying? And it is true, if this is true, that you're trying to kill people because of ritualistic purposes, you gotta stop it. You can steal all you want. You can loot the country all you want. But why kill people? If you are involved in killing people, you need to stop it. Some of you never earned $100 a month before. Today you are building homes within 60 to 90 days. I'm ASHFORD GARLEY. Have a good night.
pesaka motema ndenge nini yolma double double oh komelaka nga ata mikolo ya poso mama double double esanga mwa bezelita manaka twa double double soki opesinga ya lolemu wana nakomi esika nalingaka yo Maria Masane na